How's it going, everybody? Today's video won't be exactly a gameplay video, but more of an overview and my thoughts on the Lancecap after having used it now for probably close to 6 months or more. So, as you're probably well aware of what the Lancecap does, is it enhances the Diamond Lance. It spawns a crystal when you throw it, and it will allow you to sit behind a barricade, a rally barricade, hit 3 precision shots, or kill a target to summon one at your location. A very good buff, and a very good thing to have access to. So, with that being said, that's what the Cadmus does. Now, a couple different things I want to go over in the video here. A topic that is very frequent when I talk about how good the Lancecap is. My fears if the surrounding conversation of changes to the Lancecap come into play. How I have come to use the Lancecap in my 6 or more months of using it, and kind of some closing thoughts. This is freeform, so I'm liable to go off script. I don't have one, but you get the point. So, first thing that happened, it is usually brought up, especially since I'm using this in PvP. PvE, it's a really good choice, as it does allow you to just create more and more Diamond Lances, and you don't have to go run off to go get them. In PvP, this is where it is seen as a slow, immobile exotic. It doesn't have to be. But, if I'm going according to my ideal script here, so, Cadmus Ridge Lancecap is an augmentation exotic. It doesn't add something like highlighting a target and getting an overshield. It's not a pure movement exotic that can stack on top of Behemoth's already innate movement tool. So, it is seen as inferior to other exotics for that reason. I don't blame anyone for thinking that. That's fair, and it's valid. So, conversation that comes up when I talk about how good the Lancecap can be is that it's immobile, and it should have been added into the aspect and not into an exotic. So, my first statement here is the following. It's an augmentation exotic. We have a lot of those. Ashen Wake is an augmentation exotic. Titan's Rampart is an augmentation exotic. Warfrost Z is an augmentation exotic. So is Hallowfire Heart. So is Abeyant Leap. So is Phoenix Cradle. All of these change your playstyle in a meaningful or less meaningful way, depending on where you play more, maybe less so. The usual conversation that comes up is that this is a useless tool and it should not have been added. It should have been directly added to the aspect. So, let's go ahead and assume that it is added directly into the aspect. Cadmus Ridge Lancecap no longer exists, but its effects are now a part of Diamond Lance. So, let's also assume that you're running Krausthesia and One-Eyed Mask at this point, because this is just, if you watch the Kamikake's tier list video that he made a number of months back now, you will see that One-Eyed Mask, Krausthesia, and Diamond Lance was one of the most annoying playstyles to fight against. Now, that was assuming that Diamond Lance doesn't have the Lancecap's effect. This now creates crystals on impact. Now, freezes are more consistent because you don't have to hit them directly. You can hit them and it will freeze them due to the impact of the crystal and the lance. You also deal more damage to them because the crystal now shatters as well, so you can shatter and kill wells just with the Lancecap or with the lance aspect. Now, if you freeze someone with Krausthesia, you get Hedrons, which gives you +6 to all of these top stats. So I could run 4 mobility, get 10 mobility. I would always run high resilience. 8 is where I ended up going because my stat split is not the best due to me not having a whole lot of artifice armor. You also have recovery. I usually run 8. 8 is fine by me. Now, you pair Hedrons with Rending with new Diamond Lance aspect and Cryoclasm. Cryosthesia is a weapon that circumnavigates that 3 kill requirement of the Diamond Lance aspect. Because all you have to do is kill one Guardian, get the freeze bullet, freeze the next Guardian, and it will summon the Diamond Lance at that target's location. So, the play goes as we've gone so far. The next is to slide through the target, throw a Cold Snap grenade, freeze the next maybe 2 Guardians to the left of you who are running in with an SMG and a shotgun. You grab the Diamond Lance. Since your mobility is increased, your slide goes a little bit better. Now you also have the Cryo Slide, so now you go farther. You slide through them, you kill them. A super is coming from behind you, a Nova Warp. You have a Diamond Lance that creates a crystal and will freeze on impact. So you direct impact the super, you slide through them, you shatter the crystal, you shatter the Guardian, you punch, they are dead. Assume a well drops behind you. In the animation that they're doing, you can throw the lance, hit them, either freeze them before the cast, hit the Diamond Lance at the sword, turn around, slide through it, and then melee the Guardian that cast the well, because now their well is obliterated, it's gone. Now Cryosthesia just did that because you got 1 kill, you froze someone with the freeze bullet, and then you were able to use your grenade, which tracked to another 2 targets. You turn around after picking up the lance and killing those next 2 targets, and you're able to take out a super. Add that on top of the current artifact perks that we have right now, Pillar of Ice and Hail of the Storm, which one, defeating an encased combatant spawns stasis crystals. This does work in PvP, it will spawn more crystals. And Hail the Storm, shattering encased targets and stasis crystals, deals increased damage. And then, so you could run that with Fissures, and that will stack, so you can do a lot more damage. You could potentially get a 7th column running this specific loadout. Not even worrying about your stats all that much. It is possible. That is where my fear of the Lancecap becoming part of the aspect is realized. Because Cryosthesia negates the 3 kill requirement or the ability requirement of the Diamond Lances. Now, let's assume that Lancecap still exists, its perk is added to the artifact, or to the aspect. Now it's going to get another lance improving perk, which will then make the lances even more powerful than they are with the Lancecap. It's still stacked with Cryosthesia, it will apply to Wicked Implement, it will apply to all weapons that can allow you to get lances. That is one just power creep sandwich that I don't want, because that is very, very potent. Now, that is kind of the first couple segments there that I wanted to talk about, as I believe that the Lancecap was added to balance out Diamond Lance as an aspect, as it's already very powerful. But if you were able to have the Lancecap's effect with other already very top-tier exotics, there would be no other choice, realistically. You would always be running one of those. Lancecap exists to take and give you more choice in your playstyle. So, with that being said, I'll move on from the more depressing department there above, talking about why I think it exists and what I've heard as far as conversation as to changing it. Now, the next part here, how I play it. I play it with Wicked Implement, as I can slow and or freeze targets, create Diamond Lances, get Hedrons going just after shooting targets, and I can pair it with the barricade if I so chose. I'll do it occasionally, otherwise I'm off just floating around the map, just flowing between targets, between spawns, all of that. I'm using it to slow, let my teammates finish off kills. I'm using it somewhat as a win condition weapon similar to Hawkmoon, Revision Zero, etc. I also tend to pair it with an auto rifle, maybe an SMG depending on if they're good or not. Also, sidearms are very good with it. The heliocentric is a favorite of mine. But I could decide to pair it with Howl of the Storm, Tectonic Harvest, anything but Diamond Lance, as the Lancecap does allow me to create them just by using the barricade. I don't like to do that as I like having the 5 fragment slots, and I also like to use Cold Snap to create the lances as I use it as a pocket shotgun of sorts. So, with that knowledge, I like creating the lances using my abilities or my guns. I don't usually sit behind my barricade to create them, unless I know a super is coming and I will try to blink away at the super using the Wicked Implement to slow and freeze. If I can freeze them, I'll use the Diamond Lance that I created to freeze them again, to then slide through and finish the kill. Otherwise, I'll just straight up use the Scout and kill them that way. But it's not a lock you in one place exotic, like a lot of people seem to think it is. You pair that with IS Luna, which is a stasis 140. I use Unrelenting Headstone, as getting 2 kills heals me for about 60 HP. Headstones, scatter, you get all of the added benefits of the headstones. Shards gives you increased regen on your grenade, so assume that play I mentioned earlier, you could have half or 3/4 of your grenade back for doing that one play by using a headstone weapon. Food for thought. I also tend to run it with Crate, as it is a very good auto rifle. I use a Vorpal weapon Vorpal weapon roll, as I do like to try and take out supers, just in general play. That's why the Sweet Sorrow is my main secondary of choice. But you don't have to look at the Lancecap as a keep you in place exotic. It's only if you're playing it. If you're letting your view of how Stasis Titan is played, generally speaking, get the better of you, you will see it as a stationary exotic. If you use it more as a, oh, I'm going to throw my barricade here and maybe come back to it, a lot like how Warlocks use their rifts, you're going to play better with it. Pulse rifles are also very solid options, especially if you're behind the barricade. But it's up to how you play. So, with that being said, that's kind of my general rule of thumb for how I play it. I don't try to play in one space. If I die, I'll go back to that space. If no one's there, I'll just flow to wherever the rest of the fighting is going on. You don't have to keep it as a stationary exotic. Pair it with an aggressive weapon type, a hand cannon, a stasis SMG, as we do have 3 of them. At least 3 of them, I should say. I think we've got 4. There are weapon type. There are weapons to use with it. Find the one that fits best for you. Get the 3 kills. Use the barricade if you want. And don't forget, if you get the Diamond Lance summoned and you die right after, you can then go on to use your grenade or your melee to summon another one right away. So you could get 2 or 3 Diamond Lances in the span of 15 seconds. Just saying, it is possible. So, with that being said, I'll go and cut this here, as I have gone I think I've gone basically into a circle here, but I talked about what the Lancecap does, my fear if the Lancecap gets its perk taken away and added to the aspect, my potential dread if that does happen paired with Crausthesia, especially for PvP, as this will become more egregious than Void SMG Titan. Keep that in mind. if the Lancecap's effect is given to the aspect, Cryosthesia, Stasis with One-Eyed Mask, or Dune Marchers will become as egregious as a Void Sentinel Overshield SMGs. Just keep that in mind. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching and dealing with my little rant here, going over my, personally, one of my favorite exotics in the game. So, with that, hope you have fun in the Crucible. Go have fun using it in PvE, wherever you use it. I hope this gives you kind of an idea of my thoughts pertaining to it. There are more. I can't think of them all at once. It's a good exotic. Just theorycraft with a different idea in mind. It'll come to you in time. It took me a while before I got fully situated with this. I'm sure you can figure that out on your own. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one. Should be having a video out on one of these rolls of the SMG, probably tomorrow, with Reset. Alright, you'll have a good day. Peace.